Hello, my peeps. Shauna K here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm an alternative woman who talks about taboo things that a lot of suburban moms won't talk about. I love to make people uncomfortable and be confrontational. That is a strength of mine, but I do it lovingly. I like to broaden people's perspective. I like to say things that a lot of us moms or women are too afraid to talk about because of being ostracized or shamed or looked down upon or fired or all those kind of things. If you fancy those kind of controversies, then stick around, subscribe, like, leave a comment, debate me, tell me how much you think I'm going to hell for all my beliefs. I don't care. I like to engage. I'm always up for a good old debate. In this video, I'm going to be telling you my top 8 self-care things that I do, that I implemented in my life, that changed my life for the better, that totally transformed myself and everything around me, kind of like manifesting. But this isn't a manifesting video. I don't really know what I think about manifesting. I will take you with me while I document these 8 things in my life. So it's like a vlog type thing, and show you how these things impacted me and what they were. And maybe you can implement it too in your life. Of course, the very first thing that I implemented in my life is I stopped taking as much as I could over-the-counter medication or prescriptions, as much as able. Now, I'm not saying there's not a time and a place. There is. I've had my fair share. But those things that I could replace with natural alternatives, I did just that. I replaced as much as I could with natural herbs, botanicals, holistic things, and implemented those into my life because the benefits that's out there, there's just so much data and information and research on these natural things that there's no denying that they are good, many of them. Kratom being one. I stopped some really nasty nerve medication and pain medication that has so many side effects that fucked up my life. Lyrica, gabapentin, Cymbalta, Vicodin, all these things that really had nasty ass side effects, but doctors prescribed them happily. Even knowing that these side effects are like, there's lawsuits on it, especially Lyrica. But with my disease that I have, it was the best thing that they could give me until I found natural alternatives. That changed my life for the better. I don't have those nasty side effects anymore. My lifestyle is better. My weight has fluctuated or stopped fluctuating. It's leveled out. I've been able to drop a shit ton of weight since I really stopped over-the-counter or chemical-based shit, pills, prescriptions, any of that over the years. And it's kind of opened the door to so many natural things. Now I love to just create, and it's been years in the making. I have my own apothecary, as some of you might know. I create beauty products that are natural. I talk about these things. I'm going to recently share a video on how you can make hydraulic acid that's used in beauty products, how you can actually take it, boil it, extract it from a mushroom. Who would have thought? I'm going to make my own instead of buying bulk that I usually have to buy from a manufacturer. But that is for a different video. But yes, nature is like medicine. God has given us all these things to utilize for our health, for our beauty, for our mind, all readily available if we just know where to look. So, huge fan of kratom, marijuana, even LSD, microdosing, ketamine, the mushrooms, psychedelics, time and a place. Definitely for it. And like I said, that's just transformed my life for the better. My body has settled in. My hormones have balanced out. Like recently, hormonal issues have been a thing. But since I really started focusing on what I consume on a day-to-day basis, I finally got them to level out. My hair was starting to fall off. Kratom was a little bit to blame, But there are other factors that played a big part. And so focusing on my health and what I could do that's more natural, what I can consume or use that's more from nature, was key to changing it and bettering my life, my mind, and my body. The second thing was yoga. Now, I am very limited to what I can do in my life for physical activity because of my disease and my neck fusions. I have metal in my neck. I'm very limited. It doesn't take much to throw it off. So I had to change up how I would lose tone, stay fit, and yoga was key. It totally changed my life for the best. Changed the routines that I had for my body and kind of what it would deliver. I was loving the benefits. I was loving the outcome from daily yoga routines. YouTube has a plethora of those videos. So I highly recommend you take a look. If you too are limited with how much you can do with your body, try yoga and start out with simple stretches that might seem, like Pilates. If anything, it's more like yoga Pilates that I do. I don't do the meditation thing unless I'm wanting to pray at the same time. I strictly do the moves and the slow changes of your body, and it will tone so much. It's like I don't jog, I don't run, I don't do endurance things. My body can't do it. But yoga, it could get exhausting. It will definitely work you out. A lot of people don't think yoga could do that, but it does. You do yoga right, it will tire you out and you'll be sweating soon enough. So once I implemented that habit into my daily life, I noticed my body changing and looking the way I was wanting it to, which made me happy and just boosted my confidence overall. I needed to do something for my overall health physically, and yoga Pilates was the best thing for it. The third habit I changed for myself in my life was prayer. Now, a lot of times people don't think about prayer unless shit's hitting the fan and life's going rough. Then they either want to blame God for it or that's when they reach out asking for a miracle. But when it's going good and life's great and there's no hiccups and chapters and deserts that you're walking through, it's kind of like you don't even think to pray. And I noticed that. That's just, we do that as humans. We're all guilty of that. So I started putting a timer first on my phone to really remind me, okay, say a prayer, talk about your day, talk to God, engage, tell him what you're thankful for. And I started to make that a daily routine. It would usually be first thing in the morning when I get up before the kids and the household, and I sit down in my sunroom and I pray, read scripture, read these books, spiritual books of various kinds, and I just focus on my spirituality. It really helps you stay in tune with who you are, kind of open your mind out that it's not all about you, that you are showing how grateful you are for your life. Because when you pray, you usually will, if shit's going great, you're like, thank you for healthy kids, thank you for a roof over my head, things like that. Which brings me into my next self-care habit that I changed, and that was keeping a gratitude journal. Writing down exactly what things we're thankful for really helps us remember that we are blessed in various ways. Now, when I was a homeless mom living shelter to shelter in church basements or with church people that would open their house to me for a night, I couldn't think of much to thank God for during those dark, hard times. But I did. It was hard, but I still did. I had my daughter. Her and I were safe. God was providing for us. We always managed to find a safe spot every day. And we were never in the streets, which was a huge thing to be thankful for. So when I think back on how hard my life has been through various journeys, it's not hard to think about things to write, thinking of gratitude. And it really helps us put in a perspective, like think about the things that we otherwise don't usually think about, that we just take for granted naturally, normally, but we stop and we reflect. And that will pep up your mood. You won't think it that it will, but it does. It really makes your day feel different when you start out with listing some things you're thankful for in a gratitude journal. Really does make a difference. There's something about your demeanor that seems more carefree, more happy when you've spent your day listing some things that you're thankful for, because you're forcing yourself to be positive, you're forcing yourself to be thankful for things, which naturally a lot of us are not that way. We bitch, we complain. Negative reviews are always louder and stronger than those positive reviews, right? So the same thing applies to our mind. Negative things, bad things are always typically at the forefront and things that we focus on versus positive, happy-go-lucky things. And the next self-care habit that I implemented was going to bed early and waking up early. Two things, but technically it's one. When my husband and I first got married, we would stay up till the crack shit of dawn, and we would live off of 2 to 3 hours of sleep, go to work the next day, raise our first child, newborn, with very little sleep because we knew we weren't going to get much anyway. We would drink and we would just relax more. I really wasn't taking care of my body back then. So sleep wasn't really a priority. But as I aged, as health got worse and I was diagnosed with a disease and I had more kids, sleep became something that I craved more so in the past few years. So when I was finally able to attain healthy sleep, and there's still seasons, especially with kids, you're not always going to have full night's sleep. But if you're in a good season where your kids are sleeping, they're not sick, they're not regressing, make sure you take those full hours of sleep, full night's rest, because your body needs it. It really, truly needs it, especially if you implement some natural alternatives that help you really have a deep sleep, like some mushrooms, like blue lotus tea. Those things will really let you have a peaceful, sometimes magical, dreams with fascinating dreams. And I can't think of the word. I'm trying to think of the word. Fuck. Some amazing intuitive. Thank you. Intuitive dreams. It just makes it that much better. So going to bed early and getting up early has already been proven to be very beneficial for your mind, your body, your health. So once I started forcing myself to get that, no matter what, now we would maybe have like a Friday evening when I would stay up till midnight. That's a big deal. Every once in a while is fine. But for the most part, I would always go to bed early and I always get up early, because getting that time for yourself first thing in the morning is so important to us moms, us parents, us people that are busy, maybe with kids, a crazy life. We need those quiet times in the morning and sometimes in the evening, right when the kids go to sleep, which they have an early bedtime too, and they sleep all night just fine. That's the time where I take care of myself and make sure that I get to bed early, enjoy a nice book, just have a nice, relaxing bedtime routine, and have a great morning routine before anybody wakes up. And the next thing was I started my own garden. There are so many benefits to committing to a garden. Not only having a medicinal garden like I have, an herb garden where you're growing things for yourself to consume, whether it be teas, whether it be used for beauty products, whether it be used for cooking. When you start a garden, you have to stay committed. Like those things will die, or things will eat them, or insects will destroy them, or the sun will burn the leaves. You have to think so much about your garden that it really entertains you. If you're rarely bored. A true gardener is rarely bored. They're in their garden. If they have any spare time, they're in their garden. You're committing yourself to a project, so you kind of feel like you're forced to. So you never like, oh, I don't feel like doing this today, so I just won't. You don't get that option with the garden. Like, those things will die if you don't take care of it. So it helps you push outside your laziness or push outside your desire to recluse and not want to do anything. It helps you commit to something that you're gonna care for. And the feeling you get when the garden's flourishing and succeeding and thriving and you get to harvest, it makes you feel so proud of yourself. Like, you have a sense of accomplishment. Like, yeah, I made this shit. Or you helped make it. So there's so many benefits to starting your own garden, just like everything I mentioned, and then some. So that played a huge part in really bettering my mental health, my self-care, everything about it. The garden put so much joy. Like, I would anticipate it with excitement, going home to water or spending the evening barefoot in the grass, just feeling it beneath my feet and doing some good groundwork while watering the plants, feeling, just the air and smelling the air. There's so many benefits. So I highly recommend you start a garden. Like, I could say so much about it. It's one of my favorite things. The next self-care habit that I implemented was scheduling Pamper Days for myself. Pathetic that I had to schedule it on the calendar, but that's really what I had to do in order to commit to it. Sometimes, eventually, I learned to look forward to it, like, oh, bath day. Can't wait for it to be Thursday. And then I take a bath. Sometimes I would move it around. But it's so sad, honestly, when you think about it, that we always tend to put ourselves on the back burner, especially if you're a parent. You really put others first. Most of us. There are some pretty shitty parents. But I had to schedule Pamper Days in order to really start taking care of myself and spoiling myself and giving me some pamper. It was pathetic, but scheduling it really did the trick. I would schedule, and everyone in the household would see the calendar. Mom's bath night. Okay, and they would all kind of keep me accountable too. Like, okay, Mom, go take a bath. We'll behave. We'll go watch a movie, and it would be nice. Or a wine night with friends, if I had friends. A wine night with a good book, or Harry Potter, or Pride and Prejudice. That's pampering. Having those once a week, if anything, was so wonderful. And it is wonderful. It really does have so many benefits. It helps you look inward and be selfish for once. And especially if you have a family and you write it on a family calendar, you get everyone involved and they're all wanting to spoil you, which is nice. Sometimes they'll even help. Definitely take moments out of your busy life to pamper yourself and take care of yourself. Do something selfish for once. Really does help in so many ways. And the last self-care habit that I changed and implemented in my life was pursuing and bettering my career. Now, this one doesn't apply to every person in my situation, but it could if you look at it this way. If you're a stay-at-home mom, there's so many different things you could do to make money, especially these days. You could become an influencer and make money, make it big. A lot of people love watching moms on social media, and that would, you would have to expose your children, which don't get me started on that. I try not to include my children too much. But whatever floats your boat, right? You can start a garden and start selling the stuff, or start painting. So there's no limitations to the stay at home. But for those of us who do have a career and we have to juggle work, pursuing my job and taking care of my career focus was important. I'm not the type of person that will stay at a job bitch and complain, but still stay at the job and stick it out. I will be job hunting left and right every day, building my career and my skill sets at the same time, but still looking elsewhere. I'm not afraid. I'm always a go-getter. I'm a full-blooded Aries, sun, moon, rising, north node. So that's just my personality, is to conquer and have a drive and pursue something greater and better and fight for my worth. In the very beginning, in my first marriage, I didn't have a job. Pretty much my husband at the time was military, so we traveled around. I was a stay-at-home. With my personality, I had to do something, so I started a photography business, and I made money doing that. Once I got out of that marriage, thank the Lord, I got a career for my daughter, and I built up my career from nothing, from no experience, of years of being a stay-at-home with no experience. As a single mom, I built up my career from dirt, and I fought, and I went from being a freaking clerk, security guard, all the way to a chief of staff position in how many years has it been? 14, 13? Because I refuse to settle. I refuse to stay in a situation where I'm not happy or proud of myself, where I'm not making the money I know I deserve to make for my family. So that drive really bettered my life, changed my life, and the lives of my family. So I encourage that wholeheartedly. I know people that stay in a job that they're not happy with because of the hassle of finding a new job. It's not worth it. Fight for your worth. Pursue something that makes you happy or brings you something that will make you content to stay, especially like if it pays a shit ton of money. It might not be the most exciting job, but you get to have a bunch of vacation. Something that will drive your career further, putting you in a better place, in a better position. That overall will make you feel better and feel more accomplished and really help self-care overall. All right, guys, this was a mouthful. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you felt inspired. Might try one of these things out. Let me know what you think. What other kind of videos you would like to see. Leave it in the comments. Wish you guys the best. Until my next video, take care, and I'll see you later.